What's up, fam? Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there today. We're going to do something we haven't done in a while. We're going to take a look at a flashlight. This is one of the newer releases from Brinyte. It's the HL16 Noctua. These names always make me laugh a little bit. Very cool little light. Of course, I love Brinyte's color scheme. The black and the blue always does something for me. Yeah, typical boxing, we're not going to go through that. It does come with all the usual spares. You get, all the O-rings and all that extra stuff. But let's take a look at the light and what comes in the box. So it is a headlamp. So you do get a really nice headband. If you've used any of the Brinyte headbands, it's that same elastic that they use on all their headbands. It works very well. It stays in place. Zero issues with their headbands, and I'm sure this one will be no exception. I have not used the headband on this yet. I very seldom use a headlamp. So for my use case, I would likely not use this. As a standalone light, this works very, very well. It is a nice compact size. You will have it shown here next to a CJRB pyrite, so a lot of people are familiar with that knife, so that is a decent size comparison for y'all. Or if you're more familiar with something like a Kaiser drop bear, there you go with that. So it's a nice small compact light. Actually here's a Olight O-Clip, the O-Clip Ultra. So there again, there's a size comparison for you as well. Really cool light. It's got a nice little feature of having the head that will kind of click in. I think it's 5 different spots. So you got 90 degrees there, then 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, four different locking points. Nice clip. It works very well. I haven't had any issues with that. It uses 2 different batteries, so we'll jump into some specs on it here for you. So we'll go ahead and zoom in on that here. Let's see what's going to work best. 2 times? What about 3 times? There we go. 3 times zoom will work really well for us. So there's some of your ideas with the stuff, but the 2 different batteries that you can use is either a 16340 or a CR123A. It does come with that CR123A. It does have a TIR optic lens, whatever that means. Of course, it is 6061 aluminum. Magnetic charging, and then there are all your lumen specs. So it is a 4 mode, 5 if you count the strobe. Moon is 5 lumens, low is 60 lumens, 200 lumens for medium, and then 520 for high. It is 5000 candela, IP66, 140 meter beam distance, or 153 yards. And then just weighs 1.8 ounces, which is including the clip, but not the battery. So you figure probably 2 ounces with the battery. So yeah, let's go ahead, while we're zoomed in, let's just go ahead and zoom all the way in and take a look at this nice and up close and personal here. So typical with Brinyte, you've got some really nice knurling here around the bezel ends. So here for the battery cap, and that is a magnetic cap as well. So you can see there it does magnet to anything steel. Again, really nice pocket clip that it works really well, and they have that extra retention spot there. So if you do have some thinner fabric, that does go down nice and thin and allows you to get a good grip in that, which works really well for me wearing basketball shorts all the time. You do have a... oh, sorry, it's on this side. So you do have an indicator light there, so it tells you how much charge is there. If it's solid green, it's anywhere between 40 and 100%. And then red is from 40 down to, let's see, what is it? 40 to 5%, and then it'll start flashing at 5%. So if you got that thing flashing, then you know you've got some, you know you need to get it on the charger. So as you can see there, the moon mode is very, very mild, and then you do have to press and hold to turn it on and off. It's not a click. Click runs through the different stuff. So let's go ahead and turn that off. Again, really nice knurling here on the head. Smooth reflector. Pretty deep reflector as well for this size of light. Again, very nice positive clicks here. It's not too hard to push, but it's not going to, just move on its own or anything like that. I mean, it would, if you bumped it, it would easily move it. But, it's not like it's going to have any real issues with that, I don't think. You can see there it uses a detent ball that runs down on the inside there. So, clip is removable, of course. Typical branding, it is magnetic charging there, as we showed, or as we talked about, and there is your charger. So it's just a typical charger. They've used this type of charger before. So if you've had several Brinyte lights, you may have had one that uses that charger already. That's my really only complaint with the light, is that it does not use something like a USB charging, which I think would be very nice to have a USB-C charging port. But honestly, if I'm using this light, I'm going to have, or what I've been using, the way I've been using this light, is I have a couple of different batteries. So anytime this light's going dead, I just swap out the batteries, or every day, I put in a fresh battery when I'm using it. It doesn't really bother me one bit on that. But for charging out in the field or anything like that, of course, you do have to have this charge cord with you. So you may want to purchase a secondary cord, or keep a spare battery with you as well if you wanted to do something like that. So let's go ahead and jump into some night shots of this thing, and we'll close out this show. All right, here we are out here at the front yard, so you guys can see these beam shots. So we're going to turn it on here, and it's going to be on the low or moonlight mode. And then we're going to hit the button again. It's going to take us up to the high mode. So you guys can see on moonlight, it is in person. It is just bright enough to give you some clarity on what you're looking at. It's definitely, it looks different on screen. We're going to go into high mode here. It's going to take a second for everything to populate, but really good spread here. It's a really nice beam, widespread beam. No real hot spot, no real focus spot. You can see shining out there to the road. Again, that's about, 50 yards or so to the road there. And there is the medium mode or high mode. I'm not sure how they do this. And then we'll go into, I know that is the low mode there. Then back into the moonlight. So high, medium was low, and then moonlight. Pretty decent light for the money for sure. All right, let's get back to the desktop for the closeout of the video. All right, well, there you have it, guys. Like I said, a really nice flashlight. It performs very well for its intended purposes. It's not meant to be an end-all, be-all flashlight, but for daily carry use and, for just, working on vehicles or being in a crawl space or anything like that, you don't need anything that's 1,000 lumens or anything crazy. Honestly, I haven't had this thing in high. I don't use it in high very often at all. I typically have it in medium, and that's about all I use it on. But, a memory function is nice. It would be nice if it would, when it ramps, if it would cycle through a little bit differently. If you could maybe go from medium or go from low up into high instead of going from moon and then jumping right into high. But, I typically have it on a low or on medium, so on this height here. But then, like I said, you can turn it off and then turn it back on, and it's going to be in your selected, stuff, so you don't have to worry about that. It does have that memory function. So, all right, y'all. Well, let me know what you think down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Please remember to be kind, be humble, and be EDC. Take care.